Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's just going to be showing you guys some new pictures from Entertainment Weekly for The Walking Dead Season 6. We just have a few sort of character pictures, and then we'll do some Q&A questions after. Of course, The Walking Dead Season 6 trailer coming up next weekend. Very, very excited. Of course, I'll be doing breakdown, review, reaction, all that good stuff with you guys. Probably post-trailer predictions, and the normal stuff, what I do every year. We go into the trailer in quite a bit of detail, and we come up with what we think is going to happen. So pretty excited for that. So heads up for that. That'll be next weekend. And so let's take a look at a few of these. We've got Norman Reedus, of course, here as Daryl. Not much different, from what he looked like last season. Pretty much the same outfit, everything like that. As he should, because as far as we know, there's no time skip. Or at least there doesn't seem to be. We'll see more in the trailer if there's actually going to be some kind of time skip or anything. But his hair looks mostly the same. I want to say maybe a little longer, pretty much the same for the most part. And of course, his general look is always pretty much the same, or has been this way since about season 4. It's weird when you look back to season 3 or prior, and you see Norman Reedus as Daryl with kind of the short hair and kind of that just that prior look, and it just looks a lot different. I personally prefer the way he looks now with the longer hair and everything. I just think it looks it's pretty cool. It's kind of stylized, unique, and very very individualized, very unique to him compared to all of our other survivors, and kind of shows physically his growth as he's gone through the show. So there's that one of him. And then next we have Stephen Yeun as Glenn, who I've been pretty surprised. You look at season 5, he's had a lot more time than he did kind of in season 4 and earlier on, especially near the end there, with him kind of leading that run and what's going on between him and Nicholas, being one of the earlier survivors. Very cool character, definitely one of my favorites for sure for the series. And looks like from what I've been seeing from kind of some of the spoiler pictures and stuff from Spoiling the Dead on Facebook, he's probably going to be a huge concentration in season 6 as well too. He actually had the most zombie kills in season 5 of anybody. Even Rick or Daryl or anybody, he actually had the most on-screen kills. So it's pretty cool. So, and not much to say with him either. Again, looks very much the same as he did last season. Hopefully, at some point in time, he'll get the balls to kill Nicholas. We'll have to see what will happen with that. And then finally, we have a new picture of Lauren Cohan, of course, as Maggie. Not much to say there. Same old looking. I don't have to say, you get the idea. Looking good as usual, so that's good. Does her job. Professional hot chick, so to speak. But we need him, It's a tough life, man. It's it's a cruel world out there, sort of, in some ways. So so there's her. Nothing much to report there. Looking good as always. And okay, let's get into some of your guys' Q&A questions. And this part makes The Walking Dead Season 6 Q&A number 29. So going for 30. Maybe by the time the season comes back, I'll go for 50 this year. That sounds like a good number. 50 Q&As over the course of the summer. Pretty awesome. Okay, so we got a few questions from you guys. Keep sending them to me, by the way. I do appreciate it. And obviously, after the trailer hits, send me tons of questions, guys, because there's going to be lots of things to talk about after that next weekend. Okay, so the first question comes from Hackingstorm. And aside from him, doing his daily hacking, he decided to send me a question. He says, "Hey, Trev, I'm not sure if you get these messages or not. Nevertheless, do you think Shane would still be alive if he left before Rick shot him?" So what are you Rick didn't shoot him? What are you talking about? Maybe you need to watch The Walking Dead again, brother, and not do so much hacking. Maybe you're forgetting things. So that's not what happened. But yes, I do get your messages. Yes, if you send me a private message, I will get it, and I may include it in a Q&A. So do I think Shane would still be alive had he had left the group like he was, thinking about doing early on? I would say, even up to this point, I actually think yes. I think he actually would be, because I think he has a great skill set for somebody to survive in a zombie apocalypse. He survived the part with Otis when they were running from a huge herd. I think he is a strong leader of a group if it isn't for him having somebody else to kind of fight with, so to speak. And I think if he left that group, he may not necessarily want to be a leader of another group. He may be okay with just kind of being kind of one of the regular people. And I do think he's a really strong survivor. I mean, he's tough. He could use obviously police training, everything like that. He'd be very similar to Rick, and he'd also be able to kill too. Like how Glenn in this season 5 didn't kill Nicholas. Shane would have no problem problem killing basically anybody. I mean, if he had a problem killing Rick because that's like his best friend, right? But anybody he doesn't know, any strangers, he would have no trouble at all. So I think he was a very strong survivor, and if he would have left, yeah, I think he could have been a survivor that could have survived on for a really, really long time. So I'll say that. Yeah. So good question. Send me some more in the future, dude. But yeah, Rick didn't shoot him. Okay, next one's from Storm Shadow. He always asks some awesome questions. He says, "Hey Trev, video topic for you. Do you think we will get to see Carl's darker side this season? Chandler Riggs is getting pretty big now, so do you think they will speed up his part of the story to make up for the age? Thanks, man. Keep doing what you do." Yeah, so that is always good questions. So that's a good question. I think they kind of have to. You know, if you look at the recent issue of The Walking Dead, when he points to his eye, his missing eye, it's necessary, you know, for the character to become the same, unless he becomes a different character, like you have an Andrea situation where the comic book series version and the TV series version are very different. You know, Chandler Riggs is aging a lot faster. He's growing a lot faster, obviously, than the story he's supposed to in the story. So I think they should speed up his evolution. They should speed up his character's progression, and we should see a lot of dark things coming from him this season, a lot of darker side to him that we haven't really seen for a while. You know, he's playing with the other kids. He seems to be getting along okay, that kind of thing. I don't really want Carl to get along so well. I kind of want him to, you know, get in a fight with one of the kids, kind of like Rick did. I don't want to see him pull in, Rick off some guy he's fighting. I want to see him get in there and bite the guy Rick's fighting. You know, that's what I want to see. So yeah, maybe we'll get to see him fight Peter's son or something. You know, just something like that. You know, something really dark. Lose the eye and start, you know, mad dogging everybody. I can't even picture it really. You know, Chandler Riggs, he's just so kind of like pleasant looking, and he looks like maybe not a straight A student, but like, you know, a B student in high school or something. Some kid that would be like, you know, really nice to everybody and everything. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want a troubled kid who doesn't get along with anybody and likes to get in fights and likes to just be a nuisance to everybody. That's what I want to see. So anyway, we'll see what they actually do with him. But I think they should, because he's just such a fun character in the comic book series. That said, you know, I can understand if Kirkman wants to keep the characters kind of different to have a selling point for the comic book series. You know, in the comic book series, you get to see Andrea all the way through. You get to see Carl do this thing, and maybe keep it different in that way to, you know, have both stand on their own type deal, right? The further away they are, the more they'll stand on their own. So, yeah. Next question's from the Dessert 95, and he says, "Hey Trev, love your videos. Have a question for your Q&A. How do you think T-Dog would evolve if he survived up until now at this point in the TV series?" Well, he's not going to survive, dude. Let's be honest here. He wasn't one of those characters. You know, could they have done a lot more with him? And you know, I don't know, given him a whole backstory and everything. Well, they could have, but he just kind of, you know, stood around in the background for a few seasons. He was never a character that really got developed all that much. And he never seemed like to me that they planned on doing that with him. So, no, I don't think he really would survive almost no matter what, just because, you know, of the type of character that he was, you know, and he is. And I don't think he would be a strong survivor either, because he seemed kind of slow, a little clumsy, you know, and very fearful, you know, wanting to just leave the rest of the group and just take off and everything. You know, be by yourself like that, you know, fear eventually, you know, is going to get you at some point. You keep running, and you're so fearful, eventually you're going to get killed by zombies. So I can't really see him surviving up until now anyway, unless he changed dramatically, which we didn't see, or he was with a group like the Alexandria group. He found a lucky spot like that where he could just kind of, you know, continue to be fearful and that kind of thing. So we'll do a couple more. Next one's from Acer Cena, and he says, "Hey Trev, Q&A, do you think we will see Ezekiel in Season 6? No, I don't think so. No, that's a little early. I would think Season 7, you know, late season, even Season 8 maybe, you know, depending on how they translate it, but not Season 6. No, that's too early, I want to say. Way too early. Yeah. And we'll do one more. This one's from Dalen75 Games, and he says, "When Daryl and Beth get separated from Rick's group after the prison attack in Season 4, they end up at a funeral home. The place is kept clean and has a full stock of food in it. I suspect this was a trap, especially when Beth was taken to the hospital. Do you think the hospital group kept this funeral home as a way of kidnapping people to work for them, or do you think they are unrelated and someone else was maintaining the home? If the latter, then they didn't follow up on it." Yeah, so I've talked about this one before, so we'll just go through this real quick, and that'll be it for this video. I would say with that, I've talked about it before. My opinion is that it was some kind of outpost for them, because if you look at hospitals and funeral homes, these are connected institutions, right? Someone dies at the hospital, what do? Well, they bring their body to the funeral home, and you have that part that goes from there, the morgue or whatever, and they do whatever they do, and kind of, I don't really want to talk about that, but, it's connected. So I think it was kind of an outpost for them, maybe not necessarily a trap like I thought it was originally when we saw it, but, kind of in a way, sort of, because it was an outpost for them where they could go and stay, and then go back to the hospital. Because you wouldn't always, if you're going on runs and stuff, you're not always going to want to go back into Atlanta at night. It's pretty dangerous, So you want to have little places like that on the outskirts that you can kind of go to. And it's smart to have outposts as well too in the series. This is something that we haven't seen Rick's group use a whole lot, is to have different outposts for themselves. But they should strategically have that, I think. In case something goes wrong, or another governor decides to attack or something. So, yeah. So there's the answers for this one, guys. Let me know what you think about the pictures. I'll keep it kind of quick for this one. And if you like the video, please thumb it up below. If you want to support the channel, please share it. Please favorite it. Of course, can't wait for the trailer. It's going to be awesome. And send me any other questions you guys have. If you're new and you want to subscribe, you can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again real soon. As always, it's Trev saying peace.